Welcome to Cord Cutting This Week, episode number 29, the show where I give you my opinion on some of the biggest stories in the world of cord cutting. Now, this is my opinion. If you want to learn more, down in the show notes, there are full links to all the stories we cover where you can read a whole lot more about them. But hey, first, a little housekeeping. This is coming out a day early, kind of as a test, and also because I'm traveling to a family reunion this weekend. I wanted to see what Thursday does on the show. Also, I have a new microphone coming. Test that out. And I'm still hoping to move this show from this location to my new office down the road soon. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. So, let's dive into this week's shows, test it out, but just remember, not that much editing. And let me know what you think of a Thursday release versus a Friday release. I'd love to hear what you think. Alright, hey, right off the bat, something I thought was kind of interesting. A new report rolled out this week from the Radio Television News Directors Association that says local TV news has never been better. More stations are offering it, and reports are that ad revenue is doing really well. And this seems to be a reflection on cord cutting. With cord cutting growing, advertisers want live local news. Why? They want live events. Live events are far less likely to be fast forwarded through, far more likely to have people sit through the commercials to catch what's coming up next because they don't want to miss the news story. So it's interesting to see what's happening here. You probably noticed your local news. We're seeing expansion of news coverage. We're seeing the launch of midday kind of talk program focused on local events. That all seems to be related to the idea that live local content has been driving a lot of ad dollars recently. Have you noticed this? Are you finding yourself watching more local news as a cord cutter? Well, let me know what you think. But I think there is a lot of truth in the idea that something that's live is far less likely to be DVR'd and recorded. That's why sports is still so profitable. That's why news is becoming increasingly profitable for local news groups. But I'd like you to know though, what do you think? Do you watch local news more now as a cord cutter because you could get with your antenna? Or are you watching less? Let me know. Next up is an update on the Apple TV. So this week Apple had their big developers conference. They announced a few things. No new Apple TV. I am not expecting that this year. The reason being is they just released the 4K last year. And Apple seems to be on a 2 to 4 year rotation depending on the device and the model year. I think the Apple TV for now is going to stick to a 2-year rotation, and I'm not expecting a new rollout this year. But a few things they are doing. The Dolby Atmos audio is coming to the Apple TV. You'll be able to start buying sound bars, quote, under $1,000. Let's see what Apple actually does with that. That includes Dolby Atmos support on that. So if you're a big sound person and sound is important to you, that's good news. It's coming to the Apple TV. New remotes. Now, you still will only have one official remote. It's the Siri remote, which is the one with the touchpad on it, which many people have a love-hate relationship with. I think some of the updates made it a lot better than when it first released. It used to be super sensitive where if you just if I was cleaning the coffee table and I would move the remote, it would turn the TV on because it detected I bumped the touchpad. They've seemed to fix some of that issue. But a lot of people still are now a fan of the remote. And that's often when people say they decide not to get an Apple TV, even though they're heavy Apple users, the remote seems to be a big part of that. Now Apple says they're going to partner with third-party remote creators to officially support their third-party remotes. Now Apple TVs have worked with third-party remotes for a while, but they have not been officially supported, which means some of the cool features that like Siri and others haven't been fully implemented into them. Now with this new effort to work with third-party remote developers, it's kind of admission by Apple that, hey, yeah, our remote may not have been the best for everybody. And I know a lot of people love it, but I know a lot of people have not been big fans of it, and it has been a hold, one of the reasons I think holding up the Apple TV growth. So it'll be interesting to see who they partner with, what these remotes look like, and what the third-party developers do. I think it's what Apple should have done a long time ago. I actually think they would have done better if they just re-released the classic Apple TV remote as a suggestion or a optional purchase for the Apple TV. All right, the last part is one that a lot of people are excited about, but have bad news for cord cutters. Apple TV's single or zero sign-on feature, I should be called. This is an expansion of the single sign-on feature where now you won't ever have to enter your credentials if you have a participating service provider, when you install an app from like Viacom or NBC, etc., it will just auto log you in. So you open the ESPN app, you're logged in, nothing you need to do. This won't work with cord cutting though, at least not 99% of the apps. Now, how this is working is Apple's teaming up right now only Charter, and what they're doing is they're having Charter supply Apple with all their IP addresses, and what IP address is assigned to what account. So Apple can pull up, say, oh, you come from this IP address, which is tied to this Charter account, so you have, and that is paying for a cable TV subscription. So they're dumping that on there. So I think it's interesting what they're doing. I think it's cool if you're a cable subscriber. Unfortunately, if you're like a Sling TV, you don't have an ISP part of it. Philo, PlayStation Vue, Hulu, etc. are all not tied into a service with that. Also, right now, it's only Spectrum pay TV customers, no Spectrum streaming customers, according to what Apple is saying. AT&T may be the only exception if you happen to have AT&T DSL or internet, one of their internet services, I should say, to encompass all of them. It's possible that maybe they want to link that in and supply AT&T that to Apple. But past that, I can't see really any cord cutting services using this. So big loss for cord cutting that this isn't included. Fortunately, though, single sign-on does support many cord cutting services, Sling TV and others. You enter your login one time and it logs you in across a bunch of apps. So yeah, honestly, a lot of the news about the Apple TV was about cable, about how they're going to try to partner with cable providers to replace cable boxes with Apple TV, something Roku's been doing around the world for some time now. So they also announced that they have 100 apps in the Apple TV app, but most of them, again, require a pay TV provider to access them. So Apple didn't really have a lot of news for cord cutting, just to be honest with you. A majority of the news was related to cable companies. And it makes you wonder, does Apple, what's their long-term goal here? With cable dropping quick, is Apple going to come out with their own cord-cutting focus at some point in the future? We'll have to wait and see. Next up, DirecTV Now 2.0. Okay, it's a marketing term. DirecTV 2.0, it's the new app with the DVR. AT&T likes to call it 2.0. It is now available on the Fire TV, Apple TV, and Roku, Android, and iOS, which is kind of cool. So after dragging out rollouts when they first launched, DirecTV Now has rolled out 2.0 very quickly. It has been met with a lot of mixed results. Some people say they're very happy with it. Others say it has created a lot of issues. The guide not working properly, the DVR not working properly. So it's interesting. What I'm surprised though here is how quickly AT&T has rolled this out once they pulled the trigger and did it. So once they said it's live on these devices and within weeks it'll be on the others, and it was true. Within like 3 weeks, pretty much everybody has it now on most of their devices. It'll be interesting to see how quickly they can keep this up. It is clear though that AT&T has invested heavily in their software development. That AT&T has taken their expanded their development team to include more people to roll out these updates quicker. So hopefully AT&T does that because it's good for cord cutting. When an app is very bad, when a service like DirecTV Now launches with all the issues it had, it hurts cord cutting. Because what happens is people try it, they say this is junk, I'm gonna go back to cable. Instead of saying this is junk, I'm gonna try PlayStation Vue, Hulu, DirecTV Now, etc. So hopefully AT&T continues to take cord cutting seriously, continues to roll out updates and fixes to this quickly, because it's only going to help them. DirecTV Now, or DirecTV satellite service, is losing a ton of subscribers. If AT&T wants to be serious about maintaining a presence in the TV field, they need to properly update and fix their app. Fingers crossed they keep doing that. It's good for cord cutting. It's good for AT&T. It seems like a win-win. All right, last up, Charter's launching a $12 a month mobile phone service. Now this is a pretty cool one. It's a new service from Charter coming out. BGR got all the details, they posted. It starts at $12 a month for unlimited talk, text, and 1 gigabyte of data. So if you're somebody who doesn't use a lot of data, this is a pretty cool option for you. It allows you to text, talk, all you want for $12 a month. How it works is it relies on Wi-Fi primarily. So if you're within one of the Charter Wi-Fi networks that they offer, they will by default connect you to that Wi-Fi network. You won't have to do anything, it'll just happen in the background. If the Wi-Fi network's not working or you're in an area without the Wi-Fi, it will revert to the Verizon network, which is pretty cool. It will have an unlimited plan, which is cheap too. $45 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, which is cheaper than Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, etc. I'm suspecting for $45 a month, nothing in here talked about Wi-Fi hotspot. You're not going to be able to connect a laptop or tablet to your phone, unfortunately. But if you're somebody who that doesn't matter, this is a pretty good deal. I know for some people that's a deal killer. For others, this is a really good deal for them. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with it. But I honestly think this is not a bad option. I think they're moving in the right direction. Yeah, there's one catch. You have to be a Spectrum Internet customer at least. This is really meant to kind of tie people into their Spectrum Internet to keep them from jumping ship as 5G is coming out. It's not a bad business model. Hey, I know there's 5G out there coming, but hey, we'll give you super, super cheap internet, super, super cheap texting and phone calls because they can go out there and offer this cheap phone service. So keep an eye on it. Comcast is doing this. Look for this to put pressure on AT&T, T-Mobile, etc. to offer better plans. I honestly believe that as more and more services do this, it puts pressure on other competitors out there. And with 5G around the corner, more competition is better for the end consumer, drives down prices, gets us better plans, gets us more options. So if you watch my channel, I'm a firm believer in 5G. I'm a firm believer in what competition can do in the market. Fingers crossed this continues to roll out. Hey, I'd love to know, is there a story I missed this week? Let me know in the comments. What do you think I should have covered? What do you think of these stories? And what do you think of us doing this on Thursday? I'd love to know what you think. Leave me a comment. Hang in there. I'll see you next week for a special edition of the Cord Cutting and this week. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Join us every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern for our cord cutting Q&A, where we do our best to answer your cord cutting related questions.